皆さん、こんにちは、花です。今日、望遠ダロの SP バージョンを見ています。遅れてごめんなさい。最近、すごく忙しいですね。いつも見てくれてありがとうございました。グッドボタンとチャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。I'm so excited because I know what this is going to entail since I've already kind of seen it, but this is the full short program version. So it's just like a skating short program. So we're being treated, man. I miss him. I miss what he brought to the skating world. When he announced that he was retiring from competitive skating, I was like, man, that's gonna leave a hole in skating because he's a 1 in a million skater. He's just so incredible. I'm so ready. Let's go. Just the way he generated that speed so quickly. Just complete control over the blade. Also, these are like twizzles with the little do-do-do-do-do-do-do, just for funsies. He just hits every like expressive point in the music. Quadlets, no big deal. Mouthing the words. I said he's a 1 in a million skater, and that is truly because it's so natural. Triple axel out of a counter and a rocker, no big deal. With a twizzle at the end, with the... It's something so simple, but just him doing 3 different very basic elements, like a snowplow stop, a tango stop, and a step forward on the do. Skaters miss those little moments so often where it's just a simple step forward right on the beat. And it just shows the natural musicality that he has. We're not even going to talk about the twizzle out of the triple axel that was on that. Quad sow, triple toe, second half of the program, 10% bonus. Like, he's even spinning on the... I'm beginning to think that this piece of music was actually designed for him. I think that might be true, actually. I should watch the documentary. Well, it's not a documentary. I guess it's like an interview. Step sequence. There's nothing forced about his skating. I feel like so many skaters that are very artistic skaters, they had to practice becoming that artistic. For him, it just comes naturally. The way he just glides across the ice, his edges, everything about his skating is just... It's just who he is. It's like he was literally born skating. Guys. Okay, first call-outs. Number 1, of course he's doing a quadlets, which is the most difficult quad before an axel. He's doing a quad sow triple toe combo after the halfway mark for a 10% bonus. He's doing a triple axel with a difficult counter rocker entry. The twizzle at the end, I did not say it enough. The twizzle on the landing of the triple axel is not only just a great thing to add for added GOE, but he does it right on the like, there's so many times in skating where I'm watching a skater skate and they just miss these moments in the music where it's like, you gotta do something right there. Whether it's a crescendo, you gotta do land a jump on the crescendo, or do an Ina Bauer, or a spiral, whatever you need to do to signify that the music is not just playing in the background. And I think over the past couple of years in skating, the hardest part for me, as someone who really has always enjoyed the skating skaters who perform, who clearly are listening to their music over the skaters who just go out there and jump and jump and jump. The hardest part about watching skating over the past couple of years is I feel like we're moving farther and farther away from those types of skaters. And we're moving more and more towards the skaters that just skate with music playing and just jump and just spin and put things in no particular order. Nothing is really sensitive to the music. So for him to go out and do even like the smallest little things, the camel spin was practically on the beat. You know, he went into his spin when the music started making sounds that kind of remind you of spinning. The twizzle on the triple axel that's right on the do-do-do-do-do. The tango stop and the step forward on the do. Like, everything is so meticulous and perfect. I'm just like ranting and raving about it because I miss that in skating. Like, truly, there's so few skaters that can do that. I mean, even like my husband, who does not skate, he didn't grow up watching skating. When I watch skating, he doesn't particularly have interest in watching it with me because it's just not really his jam. Even he walks out while I'm watching skating and he's like, why are they skating to music? And I'm like, because part of the sport is musicality, is like skating to the music. And he's like, but they're not skating to the music. And it like frustrates him because they're not doing anything that particularly points towards I'm listening to my music and I'm skating to my music. But what Yuzuru Hanyu is doing here in a music video, which granted, of course, this is a full production, so there's cuts, there's editing, there's multiple takes, right? That was something he did competitively. And that's what made him so special, because it also didn't even feel like it was a particular, like the choreographer told him, okay, make sure you hit this step and this step. It was like it was just natural to him. And that's what it feels like because his body just moves along with the music. It's so hard to describe. It's just, it's incredible. And that's why he deserves the high component scores. That's why he deserves the positive grade of execution because, again, I go back to that triple axel. I cannot stress to you enough how much I like that twizzle on the do-do-do-do-do because it's perfect. It's literally perfect. And to time that perfectly with the landing of the triple axel, that gets you also at a grade of execution when your jump also is timed with music. We are being treated. We are being so treated by this, and I'm just in awe and just so thankful that I get to experience this, let alone share my thoughts and opinions about it with all of you. So we're gonna watch it again now, and I'm gonna be like pausing it and breaking it down. I'm gonna call out the things that I really love, but I'm also gonna talk about like base value and that sort of thing. I'm putting this in the second half just because I'm sure there's some people that don't really care about what the points are. They just wanted to see what I felt about the short program. So now we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty of everything, and I'm gonna talk about like what I think he would be scoring if this were competition instead of a music video. He does 3 crossovers and he's already at like full speed essentially. That's difficult. Twizzle, twizzle, twizzle. You know, he's just like, so, okay. I warned you all I'm going to pause a lot this time around. So there's 4 disciplines in ice dance. There's men's singles, women's singles, pairs, and ice dance. Ice dance is the odd man out because it's the only one that doesn't have jumps. It has spins, but it's very different than the spins that you see in the freestyle skating, as we call it, which I'm going to refer to skating with jumps as freestyle skating. Ice dance is very, very different to its core, and usually a singles skater or a pair skater would not really be able to do ice dance that well because it requires a different type of control on your blade. I remember when I switched from freestyle skating to solo ice dance a couple of years back. I think I'm gonna switch back though. And it was because I was dealing with overuse injuries that kept me from being able to jump a whole lot. My coach made it very clear. He's like, you're skating like a freestyle skater. And you're skating like a good freestyle skater with good fundamental skills. But ice dance goes to the next level of like the depth of your edge. Like when you watch an ice dancer, take a look at their skates while they're skating and look and see just how close the boot is to the ice. The reason I bring this up, long drawn out way of saying, what he is showing right here is actual like ice dance quality twizzles that a normal freestyle skater can't do because we're so focused on the jumps and the spins that are the big point getters. And it just shows that he's also taken the time and effort to hone in his skating skills. And he also has that natural raw talent like I've talked about. And he's just showing off twizzles like they're nothing. Also in a difficult position because he's like halfway squatting. Anyway, to be able to just do that as a freestyle skater is very rare because ice dance requires a whole different level of skating skills that you don't usually show off in freestyle skating. He's already hitting, you know, that back like bum, 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 bum. Like he's hitting those accents. And then he starts picking it up when it starts getting the bum, bum, bum. I also have a lot of background in music, so like all of that it just tickles the nice part of my brain. Okay, we have our first element of the program, which is a quad LUTs. Now, a quad LUTs, as I always talk about, if you've been watching my channel, I'm gonna like tell you the base value. So a quad LUTs is worth 11.5 points. Now, when the judges watch that jump, they can either add to that base value by giving them positive grade of execution, which means they executed it very well, or they can deduct from that base value by giving it negative grade of execution, or GOE. I'll be referring to it as GOE because grade of execution is kind of a mouthful. If it's performed not very good, so if someone puts their hand down, if someone has a very scratchy landing, if they have to do 3 turns out of it, or if they fall, all of those are surefire signs of negative grade of execution where they're still going to get points for the jump, but they are going to take away from that base value because they did not perform it well. But then in his case, he performs it exceptionally well. He doesn't do anything particularly special. There's no like difficult entry, difficult exit. However, he has a lot of speed, he has a lot of flow, and it looks very easy. So in my opinion, the judges are probably going to lean towards giving him a +3 or 4 on this. And for those of you who don't know, the judges give like 1 through 5 for positive grade of execution, a 0 if it's just done, like they just did it. If they didn't do it poorly, but they didn't do it well, they just did it, they'll give a 0, which means that they'll just get the base value. And then if it's not done well, they give between -1 and -5. Once the judges all give that, all of their little marks of one judge will give a +5, one judge will give a +4, whatnot, all of those are thrown into a calculator and they actually just get points added to the base value. So in this case, I would say the judges would be pretty much across the board 3s and 4s on that quad LUTs. And going off of skater protocols from present day competitions, that's going to add on about 4.30 points to that jump, which was, like I said, the base value of 11.5, bringing our total score of this element to 15.80 points. I don't think I ever got a technical element score of 15. No, I did. I mean, like, I was skating at much lower levels. I think my highest, and I'm talking like my entire technical element score that included all my jumps, all my spins, my step sequence, and everything, I think my highest is in the 20s, if I'm remembering correctly. So that's a big point getter. Let's keep going. Singing along to the music. Okay, this is big. So we're doing some transitional steps, all just so smooth, so perfectly. It's just so good. Okay, so first of all, he did a counter, so he went from a back edge to a forward edge and jumped right up, so he didn't really get any time to really set up the jump, which means that is a difficult entry, which piles on the grade of execution. The jump itself had a lot of speed, a lot of flow, and then, I'm not kidding, I think this is my favorite part, that twizzle is just so good. I don't know why, like, that twizzle on the just as a skater, as someone who does a lot of music type stuff, it like I said, it tickles the part of my brain that just makes me so content and so happy. And it should with the judges too, because they're looking for stuff like that. That is right on the music, and it's just so good. So, okay. I'm usually so like straightforward with these. I'm just like, okay. A triple axel is worth 8.0 points. I think that triple axel deserves +5. There's nothing about that. He hits so many bullet points of speed and flow and height, difficult entry, difficult exit on the music. Like, he hits all of the bullets that I can think of off the top of my head that they are supposed to hit in order to get positive grade of execution. So I'm just going to say this absolutely deserved +5s across the board. They throw that into a calculator again, and going off of, again, some current present-day skater protocols, I believe that'll give him about an extra 3 points of grade of execution, less than the quad LUTs because the triple axel is worth less points. It is easier. So, like, the lower the base value, the less added points they can get when they get, like, a +5. So if I got a +5 on a single axle, it's only going to add half a point. But if I get a +5 on a triple axle, because it's worth way more than a single axle, I get 3 points added, if that makes any sense. It's weighted based off of the base value. So I'm going to say he got +5s across the board. He got 3 points added onto that, meaning his triple axle altogether was worth 11 points. Maxed out. moving on. Flying sit spin. Feature 1. Feature 2. I think I'll give him the difficult exit, but I don't think that would count in today's system. I will admit there are some new spin rules that have happened since I stopped competing for a while that I don't fully understand exactly how it works. Like one of them being like a difficult exit is now a feature and it wasn't when I was competing. That's why you see a lot of skaters do like lunges. It looks like they're practically falling out of spin, but it's actually a difficult entry. They'll do a cartwheel out of a spin. You'll see those like random heel hop ups in the middle of a spin, which I don't like. Spins have gotten very complicated and I don't like it, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna lean on the side of that being a difficult exit, but I only counted 2 other features, so he's not maxing out his points on this spin because no matter what way I look at it, it's not a level 4. It is a level 3 if I'm being nice, a level 2 if the judges are strict. So keep in mind the fly is not a feature in a spin. So a spin, you have a base value of just like a base spin, right? And then every time you change position and do something special within the spin, you add a level to it and you max out at level 4. So in the case of this spin, the flying entry is not a feature. It is just that the base value of the spin is higher than a regular sit spin. So for reference, a sit spin with a flying entry, and we're going to say it was a level 3, the base value is 2.6 points. And I'm going to call it a level 3 because he did the basic position, which is just a regular sit position, and then he did the broken leg with the sideways lean, which is 1 feature, and then he did the tuck position, which is a 2nd feature, and then, like I said, I'm giving him the difficult exit, which would be the 3rd feature, so a level 3. 2.6 points, I would say this probably got +3s across the board. We'll give it +4s across the board, and we'll just give it an extra point. I'm being a little bit lenient on this, and also keep in mind, when it comes to the GOE, I'm just kind of taking guesses here. There's not really an objective fact behind what I'm saying, I'm just basing that off of feeling, but we'll give him +4s across the board on that spin, meaning he'll get an extra point added on, which brings his total to 3.6 points on that spin. That he like kicks forward, steps, and then tango stops right on the bum bum bum. Namida, namida. Like everything, the Ina Bauer is on the slow, like he stops singing and everything else is matching with either the singing or the backbeat. Like, quad sow, triple toe, and also keep in mind that was all in 1 take. Holy moly. Okay. Quad sow, triple toe. Also, this is after the halfway mark of the program, meaning that will get a 10% bonus. So when you do a combination, they just take the base value of the 2 jumps within the combo and add them together. A quad sow cow is worth 9.7 points, and a triple toe loop is worth 4.2 points. So right off the bat, that is 13.90. Then we have to add 10% to that, which is 1.39. So that is 15.29. Then we add our GOE, which once again, this jump, while it didn't have the difficult entry of the triple axel or the little twizzle at the end, I would say that this probably got +3s and 4s, again, just because of the speed, the flow, and the height. So I'm going to say that he got about 4 points added on to the grade of execution, meaning that his total score on this jump is 19.29 points. Insane. Insanity. Like the spin is dinner, 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 dinner. Like, okay. That was a change foot camel spin. So we're going to talk about the difference between a change foot camel spin and a change foot combination spin here in a moment. I'm just going to tell you that this spin stayed in the camel position the entire time, which is where their leg is like straight out and it's like completely, your body is here and your leg is here and it's all completely straight. That's a camel spin. He's not getting his levels. I'll just say just to be a little bit on the critical side, I guess. I counted 3 features. So he did the basic camel position, and then he did a lean with an edge change, which is just 1 feature. And then he did a fly to change foot, which is another feature, and then he did a donut, which is his 3rd feature. So a level 3 change foot camel spin, which is worth 2.80 points. Again, we're going to say he got plus 3s and 4s across the board. We will add another point on for grade of execution, bringing his total to 3.80 points on that change foot camel spin. And then I think we're going into our step sequence here, which he's going to get a level 4. Step sequences are much more difficult to call for levels. I could probably do it if I took a magnifying glass to it, but I won't. But again, just on the music, like that falling leaf, right on the music. Okay, y'all get it. He's perfect with the music, which this is a production, so it can help a little bit. But we're going to just say that step sequence was a level 4, which is worth 3.9 points. We're again going to say plus 4s-ish, plus 5s, which is going to add another, I'll give it an extra 1.5, bringing the total for that to 4.40 points. And we're into our final element of the program. So this is our change foot combination spin. First feature there. Second feature. And I think he did a difficult entry on this one that I missed. Yeah, okay. So again, we didn't do all of our spin features in any of them. I can't call any of them a level 4. Again, a lot of rules have changed since I stopped, so they very well could be level 4s, but in his case, with the level of difficulty his jumps are doing, the spins aren't quite as important as someone like Inori, if you've seen my videos where I've talked about that, but he's not getting his full maxed out levels on his spins. I called that a level 3 because we had a difficult entry, which is where he kind of like went in a couple circles, putting his toe in the ice, and then he did a camel spin, just a basic, so that wasn't a feature. A combination spin, you have to go in all 3 positions, which is going to be a camel, a sit, and an upright position. So camel spin, like I said, is where your chest is leaning forward. You're a complete straight line from your toe to the tip of your head. And then an upright spin is when you're actually upright. And then a sit spin, of course, is when you're in the sit position. So in order to get a combo spin, you have to hit all 3 of those. So he does the camel first, which is just a basic position to get the combo spin, but he's not getting a level for that. So we're still at a level 1. Then he did the Beelman, that's his second feature, so level 2. Then he changes feet to get the change foot combination spin, and he goes right into a pancake position, which is his level 3, and then that's it. Okay, so a level 3 change foot combination spin is worth 3.0 points, and then once again, he's getting plus 3s, 4s, 5s. He's gonna get an added point added to it, bringing his total to 4.0 points. And then, of course, his components, because of how many times he just hits the music, he is so smooth across the ice, he has the skating skills of an ice dancer. He's going to be maxing out a lot in the component scores. So I'll give you the total technical element score right here, which is huge. And then I think this would be scoring, what is the world record short program score right now? Men's figure skating score records. The highest short program total score as of right now is 113.97 without being able to really break down component scores. So for those of you who don't know, there are 2 halves to a score. There is the technical element score, which is everything we just talked about. The jumps, the spins, the step sequences. Then you have the component scores, which is separated into 3 subcategories, which is composition, performance and execution, and skating skills. Composition is more of that choreography. I would say I would be giving the composition a 10 of this because you've already heard me beat it down, but the musicality of this program and every note hit was just amazing. Performance and execution. So this is a score that is supposed to go down if you make mistakes because your execution of the program is not as good. And then performance is the way you perform, interpret the music, that sort of thing. So again, perfectly done. He's interpreting the music perfectly. Probably 10s, honestly. And then skating skills are the edge quality, which I've already talked about, is also amazing. So in all reality, he's not going to get 10s in an actual competition because that's very rare. People people have given him 10s. Like, he is, I think, a skater that gets more 10s than average compared to all the other skaters that he was competing against because he's just that good. And then kind of similar to grade of execution, whatever the judges give them on a scale of 0 to 10 in component scores is thrown into a calculator, and then they get a total program component score in points, and that's added onto their total technical element score to give you your total segment score, which would be the short program score. In my opinion, the world record is 113. This would be probably around there because his level of difficulty is very high. His component score should be very high. The only thing that keeps me from saying it would break a world record is he got level 3s on his spin, and one of them I still am teetering towards a level 2. So he didn't max out on his points there, but everywhere else he did, meaning that he was probably scoring around a 110 for this, which is world title level. Like, for reference, last year at the World Championships, the winner of the short program was Shoma Uno, and he scored a 107.72. So there you have it. Like, Yuzuru Hanyu is amazing. He is the GOAT. He is absolutely incredible. I don't really have much else to add on other than that this is incredible, and I am constantly in awe of his skating.
それでは今日出てきた英単語を振り返ってみましょう。
Expressive。
この単語は感情や考えを表現力豊かに伝えることを意味します。特に顔の表情やジェスチャー、声のトーンなどを使って感情を表す人や芸術的な表現が豊かな人に対して使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
Her eyes are so expressive that you can tell exactly how she feels.
彼女の目はとても表現力豊かで、彼女の気持ちがすぐにわかる。
He has an expressive way of playing the piano that moves people.
彼のピアノの演奏は表現力豊かで、人々の心を動かす。羽生さんのリンクでの動きは、曲と合っていて表現力が豊かだと素人目に見ても感じてしまいますね。私のこの顔も怒ったり、悲しい顔になったりと、いろいろと表現力豊かにしようと実は工夫しています。
Musicality。
この単語は音楽のリズムやメロディーを理解し、それを表現する能力を指します。音楽の才能がある人や演奏が自然で美しい場合に使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
Her musicality is outstanding. She plays with such natural rhythm.
彼女の音楽性は素晴らしい。とても自然なリズムで演奏する。
Good dancers have a strong sense of musicality.
いいダンサーは優れた音楽性を持っている。羽生さんはリンクの上で曲と動きをシンクロさせたりと、素人目に見ても表現力がすごいなぁと思わせる人ですよね。さっきも同じようなことを言った気がしますが、まあ多分気のせいですね。
Meticulous。
この単語は細かい部分にまで気を配り、几帳面で慎重なことを意味します。特に仕事や作業において正確さを重視する人に対して使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
He is meticulous about his work, checking every detail carefully.
彼は仕事に対して几帳面で、すべての細かい部分を慎重にチェックする。
The artist's meticulous attention to detail makes his paintings stand out.
その画家の細部へのこだわりが、彼の絵を際立たせている。フィギュアスケートは指先の細かい動きまで細部にわたって繊細な動きが求められる場面がありますね。このチャンネルも翻訳に関してはできるだけちゃんとしたいという思いがあります。思いはあるんだよ。
In awe。
この表現は何かに感動して圧倒されて畏敬の念を抱いていることを意味します。壮大な景色や素晴らしい才能を目の当たりにした時に使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
She stood in awe of the breathtaking view from the mountaintop.
彼女は山頂からの息を飲むような景色に感動した。
I was in awe of his incredible talent.
彼の驚異的な才能に圧倒された。あまりにすごい才能を見てしまうと、 はっと圧倒されてしまいますよね。きっと羽生さんの演技を見たフィギュアスケーターとか、大谷翔平選手のバッティングを見た野球選手とかがそうなるんでしょうね。
Odd man out.
この表現は、グループの中で負荷と異なっている人や仲間外れを指します。ゲームやパズルの文脈でも使われますが、比喩的に周りと違う存在を指すことが多いです。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
Everyone was wearing formal suits, but he showed up in jeans, making him the odd man out.
みんなフォーマルなスーツを着ていたが、彼だけがジーンズ姿で、まるで仲間外れのようだった。
Being the only foreigner in the class made me feel like the odd man out.
クラスで唯一の外国人だったので、仲間外れのように感じた。アイスダンスはフィギュアスケートの中でも少し異質な存在なのだという解説がありましたね。私はこのシリーズを始めるまでアイスダンスにジャンプがないということさえ知りませんでした。
Exceptionally.
この単語は並外れて、特にという意味で何かが普通よりもはるかに優れている、または異常に際立っている場合に使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
She is exceptionally talented in math and science.
彼女は数学と科学において並外れた才能を持っている。
The weather was exceptionally hot for this time of year.
この時期にしては異常なほど暑かった。羽生さんはまさに並外れた才能の持ち主だと言えますね。アニメだといのりちゃんやみっちゃんがそれに当たるんでしょうけど、現実でアニメを超えてくるのやめてもらっていいですか？
Complicated.
この単語は複雑な、理解しにくい、難しいといった意味を持ちます。物事の構造や状況が込み入っていて、一筋縄ではいかないときに使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The instructions were too complicated for me to understand.
説明があまりにも複雑で私には理解できなかった。
Their relationship is complicated. They love each other but keep fighting.
彼らの関係は複雑だ。お互いに愛し合っているのにしょっちゅう喧嘩している。フィギュアスケートにはいろいろと複雑なルールがありますよね。特にどのジャンプの基礎点が何点で、GOE がどうとか演技構成点がどうとかになると、もう訳がわからなくなってしまいます。
Lenient.
この単語は寛大な、甘いという意味を持ち、特に規則や罰則を厳しく適用しない場合に使われます。教師や上司などがルールに対して厳しすぎない場合によく使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The teacher was lenient and didn't give us homework over the weekend.
先生は寛大で週末の宿題を出さなかった。
The judge was lenient with the first-time offender.
その裁判官は初犯者に対して寛大だった。最近子供に対してあまり叱れない親が増えてきていますね。寛大なのはいいですが、それって親の役割果たせてるんですかね。なんか、すごくババ臭いことを言ってしまってすみません。
Goat.
この単語はグレーテストオブオールタイムの略で、特定の分野で最も優れた人を指すスラングです。スポーツ、音楽、ビジネスなどあらゆる分野で使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
Many people consider Michael Jordan the GOAT of basketball.
多くの人がマイケル・ジョーダンをバスケットボールの史上最高の選手と考えている。
This song is amazing. Definitely one of the GOATs of all time.
この曲は最高だ。間違いなく史上最高の一曲だ。ちなみにこのスラングはスペリングがヤギのゴートと一緒なので、さらにこの単語を絵文字のヤギを使って表現する人もいます。外国人からヤギの絵文字が送られても煽られてるわけではないので注意しましょう。